presidential candidate, Donald Trump, is on in trial right now for 34 counts of felony counts, falsifying business records to commit an election interference. Things are not going well for him in court. So it started out after jury selection, and he got a gag order, and then recently the judge fined him. What was it, $1,000 per charge, and there were like 10, and I think he gave him 9, so it was a $9,000, which is nothing to Trump. And even the judge wrote down it's a nothing amount of money, and he's like, I really should be able to fine him more, but I can't. So the only thing I've got left if he continues to do this is I got to throw him in jail. That's not good when the judge is writing that down. This is your warning. Your final warning. On top of the fact, now that he's been found guilty of 9 counts of contempt, he's in violation of his pretrial release in his other cases. Because right now, he's on bail. Right? It's called pretrial release, but it's you can't be breaking the law when you're on fucking bail. Otherwise, they could revoke it and throw him in prison. Pending trial.
Oh my.
So we'll see what happens. I'd be shocked. I mean, if Chutkan gets this through, she might say yeah. Because she's going to have to do a show cause hearing now. Where they come in and he's got to explain, well, why is it that you were in contempt? And how is that not a violation of your pretrial release? So, anyway, it didn't go well. His first person that came up was a guy named David Pecker. And that's not a joke, that's the guy's real name. And he ran AMI, which ran the National Enquirer. And they used to do these like catch and kill stories where they buy the story and then kill it, right? Or they buy tabloid news. But they buy them and kill it for payments. And they did this for Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he was under investigation for that. And while he was under investigation for that, he did it for Donald Trump. And he did it for, the doorman who had a story about Trump having a child out of wedlock, which turned out not to be true. But they paid him off anyway because what happened was the Access Hollywood tape had come out, right, where Trump did the grab him by the pussy line. And he was looking really bad in the election. They couldn't handle another scandal. So they paid off the doorman. Then his ex-girlfriend, Karen McDougal, she claims they dated for like 10 months. And she's got receipts of gifts she gave him. She even claims she was in love with him. What they did was Pecker hired her to buy out her story and to hide the payment. And he gave her like a do-nothing job at the tabloid. And she thought they were going to make her famous and help her out. And really, she just got taken advantage of through this whole thing. So she's kind of she's kind of a pathetic figure in this whole deal. I mean, I feel kind of bad for her, but, you know, you need to sleep with the devil you sleep with, you get what you get. And then, of course, Stormy Daniels being probably the most salacious one, right? The porn star. And what happened with Stormy Daniels, and Pecker in his testimony said, yeah, when Stormy came up, I said, God, you guys, I've done this twice. You haven't paid me back for any of it. I'm not your bank. And furthermore, I'm not doing it a third time. Because I'm already in severe danger of getting caught for election interference on your behalf. So Michael Cohen had to do that one on his own. Well, then the attorney for Karen McDougal and Stormy Daniels, who negotiated those deals, he got up and testified and basically said, yeah, that's what happened. I did these deals. I did them with Michael Cohen. Trump paid it off. They were worried about the election. So that's all they have to prove, right? But it didn't go well for Trump this week. We'll watch a little clip here from Alex Wagner just covering it.
Here was one of David Pecker's final moments with prosecutors when he was questioned by the prosecution about why he bought and then killed Playboy playmate Karen McDougal's story about her alleged affair with Trump. Prosecutor Joshua Steinglass. Had you published a story about a Playboy model having a year-long sexual affair while he was married with a presidential candidate, would that have sold magazines, do you think? Pecker, yes. Steinglass. That would be like National and Enquirer gold? Pecker, yes. Steinglass. But at the time that you entered into that agreement, you had zero intention of publishing that story? Pecker, that's correct. Steinglass. And despite the fact that publishing that story would have helped your bottom line, you killed the story because it helped the candidate Donald Trump. Pecker, yes. Pretty damaging testimony there.
Well,
the
that's
case.
clear.
Yeah, that's the case, man. Yes, we did it to cover up these stories to influence the election. And we lied about where the money was coming from and what it was for on our business records. So it's a felony. Yeah, and Trump right now he's pissed. Yeah, he's still denying the affairs. He's telling his lawyers he really wants them to go after Karen McDougal and like berate her. And it's like, dude, she's the most sympathetic person in this case. She was just a naive idiot who thought, you cared about her. I mean,
Right.
I'm not saying she's a good person or anything, but still, it's like she didn't really do anything. I mean, other than sleeping with a married man, she didn't do anything illegal or terrible here. But yeah,
No.
and they're gonna go after her, and it's like it's so stupid at this point. With the jury, they're not gonna believe because Pecker is corroborated now by their lawyer or her lawyer, right? And the relationship is corroborated by Trump's former personal assistant. She corroborated that whole thing. So now once Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels get up, even though they have some credibility issues, everything they say is already being corroborated. And even David Pecker, when he was on the stand, said that he still thought of Trump as a mentor and a friend, but he took the deal because he had to cover his ass. Because he didn't want to get busted for this.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, Pecker in and of himself, I think, proves the case. I think they proved that pretty quickly on day one. Now everything else is just nails in the coffin. And I think Cohen's going to be the real condemning testimony because Cohen went to prison for this. And Cohen's going to say, yeah, I did all of this at his direction. He's already said it to Congress when they asked him about it. So, yeah, I don't know how you don't find him guilty. You have to create some sort of reasonable doubt. And the only way you can do it is to say, okay, yeah, he lied, he cheated on his wife with these women, but he didn't pay them off for the election. He paid them off because he was worried his wife would find out. But everybody said, yeah, he didn't care what Melania thought. Melania
What are the
knows.
chances Melania would care?
No, as long as he's not sleeping with her, I'm sure Melania doesn't give a shit.
Right, no kidding.
As long as I don't have to put up with him, she's like, I don't care. She just doesn't want it public because it looks bad.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing with like Bill and Hillary Clinton. I mean, Hillary knew he was having affairs for years. She just got pissed when it became public. And it's like, really, Bill, the fucking intern? It's like, and of course, it's the same thing. Who was the ultimate victim in that? It was Monica Lewinsky. It was just a 22-year-old girl. And Karen McDougal's going to come out the same way. You know?
Yeah, I feel sorry for these girls, and I know it's an unpopular opinion because people go, but they're with somebody who's married, etc. Fine, put your morality there, but these are women who have sort of been charmed by somebody in a position of power and thinking this person really cares about them and sort of stepping out on a limb because they think they're in love or whatever, and then they get just totally drugged through the mud.
Oh yeah, because when you're having an affair with a powerful person like that, it's not them that's going down. They will throw you under the bridge, under the bus, right? Long before they face any consequences. That's just how it goes. But yeah, so he's cooked. I mean, there's not really much else to say about that trial. I mean, we'll cover more of it later, but he's really fried, I think. And in fact, it's